Hey, it's MK and I am back with another day of April Fooled Ya. Or is it April's Fooled Ya? April. Can't even remember. Anyways, here is the sketch that we will be tearing apart and trying to figure out what it is that we want to create. Now this one's going to be a little bit smaller. I said that about the last one too, and it ended up being like almost an hour long. But you guys requested every little bit, and so that is what I put in there. I didn't cut anything out. I didn't, I cut out a little bit of fussy cutting, but that's about it. So anyways, what do I have here? I have my 7 things. Okay, so I have my sketch, I have my inspiration, which you guys will definitely be able to see what inspiration I pulled from the mood board this time. So my 7 things, my mini paper pad is going to be this Happiness by Cocoa Vanilla. All right, that's it. And then my pocket cards, I kept the exact same kind of sort of cards that I pulled from the very day one. These ones are just clear acetate. Some of them are black, some of them are silver, some of them are gold. And then I've got a bunch of pocket cards that are gold because I'm trying to think in my brain that this is going to be, one of those pretty ones that I'm not very good at. But we'll try and get it going. So those are the pocket cards. The mixed media, all I pulled out was this mica mist that is called Pink Carnation. And basically what I plan on doing is just little spritzing here and there. Not spritzing, because none of these spray at all. Like, none. Sprinkling. That's all I plan on doing, is adding the little sprinkles. And then I've got white daisy, or I got white daisies. I got white doilies, and this is what is determining how many I am doing, because I don't have a whole lot of white. They were all off-white. Okay, so that is that. And last but not least, the little shaker blisters that I will be using are just these weird shapes. And what they are is they're actually these little teacups, like so. And when you use the die, which looks like this, let's go. Here's the die. Okay, it's got an outer and an inner, and I guess what I could have done is cut another piece, and then that way they could be like this, and then I actually just have a cup. But I'm not sure if I could do that. I could definitely go and do that. But anyways, it just goes around the blister just like that. That's what it does. Now, these blisters are meant to go on like the back of a card, and the card is very, very thick, because basically you have the front of your card, which the blister sticks through, and you don't see any of these outlines. And then when you go to cover up your blister, you put a whole entire backing on it. You don't just put a cover right here over just this little element. So that's why it's a little bit bigger than the die is. But yeah, now that I think about it, I might go and make another one. Yes, I might do that. The only reason why I had one that is solid to begin with is because I only have 5 of these. Well, I have more, but I didn't have enough doilies to do more. And so I just pulled 5 because that's what came with the die to begin with. Clearly I've never used them before, so I still have all 5. And then I needed to finish them up, so I cut out extras without the, for the blisters. But now I'm going to go and cut 5 more, which I have the paper to do that. So I will go and do that. Yay. Next up are my dice. So I have number 6 is Brad's. So I basically went into my little containers that I showed in the intro, and I pulled out these Happy Brads. And basically this one is just the corduroy brads that are pink and green and blue, but they're kind of like a dusty blue, which I think matches. I'm not really sure. I might be thinking of a different collection. I have these little like postage hangy mabobber taggy things, and so I pulled out white brads to go with them. I also have these bright pink brads, copper base or a gold base. but I love how they're matte finished. And then I had these lighter pink, and I can't remember exactly. These are called like edgelets or something like that. So this little piece here goes over the edge of a paper, and then the brad goes through to hold it on. I've never used them like that, you guys. I've always torn them in half, and then that way I have double my supplies. That's what I've always done. But hey, I'm weird. All right, and then of course I pulled out some glitter. It's the Nuvo glitter. I've got rose gold squares and copper hexagons because I kind of wanted it to look like tea. And so I thought if I mixed these two, then they will look like tea. And what else did I do? I took one of those sheets from, see how it matches the inspiration? Like, beautifully. So I took one of those sheets from the happiness pad. Let me take my dust cover off. And I ran it through my scan and cut. And this is what I got, is all these little butterflies. And they're already fussy cut for me. And then I have this right here if I wanted to do another cluster, which I think will be kind of cool. I might do that. I might save that. But I have all these really cool butterflies now to add to my tray, just like so. And now I've got that one little embellishment as well. What else do I have on my tray? I have this right here. Now this is a die. Oh my gosh, itchy nose, I'm sorry. This is a die from Elizabeth Crafts, just like so. And I don't know if they're wonky circles or if they're meant to be roses. I don't know. I still have to cut out all of the, or not cut out, punch out all the little bits from these ones. But this is what it looks like. And in the sketch, we had a whole bunch of hexagons sticking out. Can you guys see those hexagons? Yeah, so my little swirly bits are going to represent the hexagons, and then I'm going to put, you know, it's 3 layers of paper and then, you know, a photo on top. So I figured, you know, I've got an entire paper pad. I can rustle up some paper, throw an embellishment on, and ta-da, we are done. So that is basically what I plan on doing. I'm going to take off all my butterflies. And what else was I going to do? Oh, I'm going to go and cut 5 more teacups. That's what I'm going to go do. All right, let's get going. So the first thing that I'm going to be doing is putting together all of my teacups. Now, the first thing that I ended up doing is putting the like teacup frame around the blister, so that way I could cut around the extra off of the blister. I'm not really concerned on having enough adhesive because of the fact that this adhesive, it wasn't as wonky as the balloons were. The balloons seemed like really, really off to me. And so I had to make them a little bit wider than I wanted to. But these teacups seemed to be a little bit more aligned where the adhesive was on the blister. So I just basically cut around my teacup, and then of course I am fiddling with something on my computer, I bet. Sorry about that pause. I am only doing 5 teacups because I had another 10 of these and I thought, oh my gosh, 15, that's a bit much. Plus, when you turn them upside down, they kind of sort of look like flan. I know, I'm so weird. So after I am done cutting out my, the extra bit of my blisters off, I'm just going to fill them up with both of these little glitter pieces. Now, I'm not really sure if this is glitter or not. It wasn't staticky. It wasn't, it acted different. I believe the little jars said that they were glitter, but I was very impressed. They didn't static to the blister like all the other sequins I've been playing with have been. And they just were very clean, you guys. I enjoyed this project very, very much. I do like how sturdy the little teacups with their backings were. In fact, it was like, oh my gosh, these alone would have made very cute embellishments. Add a little like tag to it to make it look like it was the tea bag and a string, and it was awesome. So very quickly and very briefly, I showed you guys that I ran my wood grain paper as well as another piece of paper through a wood grain embossing folder, and now I am just basically running some, I believe, I can't remember the name of it, oh golly, you guys, I'm so sorry. I can't remember the name of the Tim Holtz ink that I am using. At first I started with a dye ink and then I went to an oxide because I wasn't getting the color that I was looking for. The first color was tea dye and it blended in too much for me to, I wanted the wood grain to stick out just a hair. I didn't want it to be too much. I also picked out like a very plain Jane paper from this pad that only had markings on the edges. And when I ran it through the embossing folder and then inked it, it kind of was just a pale wood grain. So I was very pleased with that. Now I'm just divvying up all of my supplies, deciding what paper I want with what clusters. And I'm actually going to end up making multiples of the same thing, but I only record doing one. I do not record doing the same thing multiple times over. I just felt like it's boring and I don't know exactly what to say every time. Oh, look, I'm doing it again. It's like watching NASCAR, Oh, she took another left turn. Yes, that's awesome. So I basically decided that, I'm only going to show you guys one. And then when I spread the sprinkles, then you guys get to see the other 5 plus all the close-ups at the end as well. So you're not really missing anything. It's the exact same thing, the exact same supplies over and over and over again, except that, a butterfly is a different color. Yep, that's about it. I decided on some polka dot pocket page cards, and then I was going through my gold ones, and at first I thought, okay, well, I'm going to do flowers. There's a lot of floral in this paper pad, but I didn't bring out the floral because I thought that it was a little bit too big for the clusters that I wanted to make, except for this teeny tiny little floral paper pad or paper that I chose for some of the clusters, and the other clusters were kind of missing those. And so I thought, okay, I'm going to bring them in. Well, when I started putting them together, like this very first one here, for one, that's a lot of gold. I didn't like it. And I was covering most of it up and I thought, nope, I'm going to leave it out. I'm just going to have these 2 pieces of paper and then my embellishments. And and at first I wanted the cup to be like tipped out, like it was pouring out. And I disappeared for a very, 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 very long time because I went to go look for, I could have sworn I had a stamp set about pouring, something about pouring due to coffee. And I couldn't find anything. And I was like, oh, that's it? Everything mentioned coffee in it. And so I thought, no, I'm good. This isn't coffee. This is tea. And I really wanted everyone to know that it was tea. Yes. So for this very first one, because I am using the teacups and only in this cluster do I use the teacups, I wanted the butterflies to look like they were coming out of the cup and they were like the steam from the cup. And so, that was what it was. And then here's my little, tag for the tea bag idea coming into play. So I went and I got a twine and I have these perfect little charms that I pulled out. And instead of using my brads to go with them, I'm just going to use the twine and make it look like it's the little tea bag sticking out of the teacup. Oh, I thought it was such a great idea, you guys. I'm so proud of myself. I'm sorry. I'm gloating and okay. Off your pedestal, loose the ego, and move on. All right. So for these brads, I thought it would be a brilliant idea to pull the prongs off because I didn't want to poke holes at first in them. And so I just really wanted to pop them on. Well, what a pain. I didn't like it. That's me trying to wiggle those prongs off, and it hurt my fingers. I ended up going and getting like plier cutter things. We have a name for them, but it's not a very good name, and so I'm not going to say it on camera or on video. So but they do have a real name. I just don't like saying the name. But I did that for every single one of these brads for this cluster, and then from then on out, I decided I am going to poke a hole in each one of them. So before I realized that I forgot to sprinkle, I moved on to the next cluster. And then I realized, I wanted to sprinkle on each of those clusters. So brought out my messy mat, shaken up the little pink carnation mica mist that I have, and I am sprinkling just on the wood grain. Now, I did use oxide. So this is an alcohol-based little sprinkle, and as soon as the sprinkles touch
the oxide, magic happens. And when they dry, you'll see them in the close-ups, because right now, while it's wet, there is no magic, but you have to wait for it to dry to see the little magic. And basically the pink carnation picks up the brown, whatever this was called. I'm so sorry, I forgot. But it picks it up and changes the color of the pink. So I really liked it. It was a little bit more me, considering how girly these little clusters actually are. So for this one, kind of sort of the same exact thing. You've got a horizontal, you've got a vertical, and you have like a little saying type thing. I see these clusters, especially as big as they are, I see them as either huge journaling spots or a title, like they're your 75% title card. That's how I kind of see these as. I've gotten a lot of comments, especially on Facebook, and it seems to me like people aren't going in and watching the video, which is just fine. I'd rather, go and check out the photos and everything too, make my comments there, because I'm a silent stalker over here on YouTube. I just don't, I hit the playlist and I watch through videos rather than stop at everyone and comment. So yes, I'm a horrible person. But I've gotten a lot of comments as if like they didn't see the video. And so it's like, okay, well, yeah, these clusters are large, or on the larger side, but basically, if you're going to use these on scrapbooks, your scrapbook is like 50% to 80% done. That's how I see it. So yeah, everybody's like kind of having a hard time visualizing how to use these. And I'm like, oh my gosh, really? Because I see it as I'm almost done. All right. So anyways, I think this is the third cluster. Yes. And I thought about taking these little swirly gigs and putting them in between the wood grain and the vertical piece of pattern paper, but I didn't really like it. It was like, oh, well, no, I like it all the way in the back. I am putting washi tape on the bottom, so that way they don't get snagged, because when I cut the die cut in half-ish, I left a whole lot of little hangy bits. And so it was like, oh, the washi is absolutely perfect. And I don't have to worry about it getting snagged anywhere. Plus, any of the adhesive that comes through it is also covered up. So yay, bonus. I tried to find something different as far as ribbon or twine goes with this little cluster that I'm doing here. And I disappeared. I don't know where I went. Probably let the dogs out. Yep. That's usually what I end up doing. And I decided on this rope. That's what I decided. I don't know exactly what it's called. It's too thick to be twine. But I did decide to do this rope. I really just liked it going with the types of papers that I picked, because they're not exactly... They're more of artistic papers, or abstract papers, I should say, rather than florally papers. Now, the butterflies do add that little bit of softness, but yeah, as far as the little florally bits go, I just thought that, no, the rope is perfect for these. And I thought I'd use these little edgelets. I don't know exactly what they're called, but I thought I'd throw them on the page. Now here is the other one. I don't know where the third one went on here, you guys. I'm like fast forwarding, going here, going back, and I'm like, where's my third cluster? They don't even get to see it. That's messed up, but you guys will see it in the close-up, I promise. All right, so here is, I believe, the very, very, very last cluster. I'm liking saying very, very, very. Yes, I've said that way too many times, you guys. I apologize. So again, I have an acetate polka dot, and basically what I did was I flipped the acetate. So if it was gold or if it was black, I flipped it because it's always silver on the other side. And I thought, oh, that's perfect. I like the silver because there's not really gold or black in here, and silver is a softer metallic. And so I really liked doing that. But this one is uber super simple. I decided not to do a doily at all. I just did the pocket card, added a few brads. This is where I decided I was going to poke the brads. I'm done, like my hands hurt, seriously, trying to pull all those prongs off. And then I want to finish off this little, I don't know what kind of trim this is called, but they've got like the little dangly bits. Oh, what is that called? It's not a fringe, but it's got the little balls hanging down, and that just was terrible. So anyways, here as the little sprinkles on this one, and I am about done, so we can see all of the really cool close-ups of these little clusters. But I did slow down the sprinkling just a little bit because I wanted you guys to see that I did make multiples of each one. Now, I didn't have a pocket card for this one, so I did bring in a doily. And here they are. I actually really like the close-ups, especially when they're all shown together, because I'm like, wow, that wood grain paper that was like faux wood grain paper turned out really cool. I kind of sort of like it. Sorry. There's also that option of if it's too long or if it doesn't work, you can always rip off that extra little bit of the horizontal piece of paper. I mean, it's an option. These are just, pre-made embellishments where you don't know where they're going to go. So make them work for you. I mean, that's, they were just made to use up the stuff, and that's it. So anywho, I do enjoy putting all of these little things together. This was just done by one paper pad. I added a few brads, a doily, and some pocket cards. And the blisters. I did that too, but I used the paper from the paper pad. All the cuts were from the paper pad. Everything was just using this one paper pad, and I enjoyed it very, very much. All right, I will check you all tomorrow. Be sure to check out Scrapping Reflections. That's where the mood board is for all of these projects, as well as the inspiration that I'm getting from them, the sketches. And she's crafty. Go check her out. She's got lots of things going on right now. All right. I'll see you guys tomorrow. See ya.